it's just starting to rain. It's the middle of July now. The weather forecast seems really unsettled. There's a lot of rain in the forecast for the next 2 weeks, so I thought I'd take the risk and spread some muck. The camera doesn't pick it up, but it's spread it really nice. This is stuff that's straight out of the feed passageway of my cows, so it is about as good as you can get for spreading on grass, because it's wet and it's all smashed up because they've treaded it. And I suppose there's quite a lot of it is basically slurry. You get the odd lump like that, which could probably do with being squashed in before we run over this with a mower again, but I would have said most of it would probably disappear if we have quite a bit of rain over the next 2 weeks. This field I mowed really short because it was a really short crop of grass, so I had to have the mower quite low just to be able to mow it because it kept stalling the mower. But yeah, this made a really nice job, and I've not put much on it as well. I know when you've got no grass it looks like you're putting a lot on, and I know I haven't put a lot on here, but I've spread this one spreader load over probably about 4 acres, so it's only like 2 or 3 tons to the acre, but it looks quite thick because of how little grass is on it. So I think I've got one more load to take out of my cattle passageways, and then I've got some tipped up over here, and that's been sat there for quite a while, so that won't spread anywhere near as nice because it's started having grasses and things growing on it, so we'll see what happens with that. But I'm thinking of bringing my digger and getting rid of the pile. If there wasn't a lot of rain forecast I probably wouldn't bother, but seeing as it seems pretty wet in the forecast, I think I'm going to take my chance and get rid of it. I don't know how many loads are there. There's maybe 4 or 5 loads, so if I put it on light it's probably enough to cover this field. Just having a quick look around some of this ground that we cut hay on a couple of weeks ago. I've got a couple of mole traps up here because they made a hell of a mess up in this top corner, and I haven't checked them for about a week, so I thought I'd better come and have a look, but I haven't managed to catch any. But yeah, this is growing back. This will be second cut. Obviously it was a very late cut because we cut hay on it. But yeah, it's coming back. I don't think it'll be too long before we're back in here. This will be, well, second cut will be silage. So yeah, it'll be some of the earlier, the next stuff to cut probably, I would have thought, because we haven't got anything hurting for a while. You can sort of see where the fertilizer's worked and where it hasn't. Like, it looks as though I haven't spread any here, even though I've spread the same amount everywhere. But like, this part of the field is nowhere near as dark a green as over there, which is a bit strange. But yeah, I think we just need some rain really. It's forecast rain all day today, and we've barely had enough to wet the ground. It's not wet the ground under the trees. Just having a bit of a maintenance afternoon today, because in between, well, we've got nothing really pressing to harvest at the moment. We're still waiting for second, third cuts, and there's no straw about yet really, because all the crops around here are spring barley and wheat. So we thought we'd have a look at this baler, and the more we look at it, the more problems we keep finding. But we're just taking some time. We replaced a load of pickup tines. There was quite a few broken actually, all on the same row. Like, we must have had something go through and snapped all 4 of them in the same place. So we've put everything on that we've got. I've ordered some more. We had a puncher as well. I've fixed that puncher on that tyre. And then we've just taken this thing off. This is the fingers that go in here, basically the gap between your chamber and your pickup tines. Those fingers come up and basically go round and round and throw the grass material into your chamber. But we were noticing it was getting very bangy. It was making quite a lot of big thunking noises. So a closer inspection, when we had a look, it's very, very loose and rattly. Basically, this shaft here runs right through this finger bar, and then there's a nylon bush in each end. And there's a grease nipple on each end, which I didn't know about. I didn't know there was grease nipples on there, and I don't think they were both completely clogged. Well, one grease nipple had broken off and the other one was completely clogged, so you couldn't use it anyway. And the nylon bush, it looks as though at some point one of them's been replaced, because one of them's nowhere near as worn as the other. So yeah, there's a lot of slop in it, and it was probably why it was making so much banging noise when we were baling. So we thought we'd take it off. It was a bit of a pig to get it off, but we got it off. Fixed the grease nipples. One of the bushes isn't too bad, so we'll probably keep that in. Dan's 3D printing another one, just so we can get it back together, and we're kind of hoping that if we keep on top of the greasing, he seems to think it could last a couple of years, so we'll see how it goes. He's halfway through printing it now, and then hopefully we'll get it put back together. Dan's just wondering whether to put this shaft in the lathe and see whether he can get it to spin, whether or not we build this back up with weld, because there's about 2 mil of wear on this end. So we'll see about that. And he's fixed one of these arms, not this one, but on the other side. He's welded a bush inside this frame, which holds the pickup wheels, and they were wobbling around a lot, and he's took it apart and noticed that the bush inside that tube had come loose, so he's re-welded that back in. He's put a new gasket on here, because we had two little ones, and he's replaced them with one big one, so this is very, very springy now, almost too springy. So yeah, that's where we're up to so far. Everything else doesn't seem too bad. Yeah, fixed this puncher, and I've repaired a couple more punchers as well. Yeah, because his bush had come loose. It's still very rattly, but it was way worse than that, and it was banging into this. So he's took it off and he's welded it back in. Yeah, this JCB's been causing some mither. It won't tilt. I can't remember if it's forward or back. I think it's forward. It won't tilt forward, and it just sort of like, it goes to tilt but then doesn't tilt, and it just sort of shakes the headstock. And we think it's this thing here, which is like it's like a check valve, a dump valve. And we've just got a new one, because it's been pretty bad for a couple of weeks, and we didn't know whether Dan's had it out once and had a look at it, and he can't see anything wrong with it. So we put it back in, and then there's days when it doesn't do it at all and there's no trouble, and there's other days where you just literally you can't tilt your forks back at all, and you have to sit there revving the engine and just keep tilting until eventually it frees itself up. But it got to the point where we're just breaking things, and it's getting very frustrating. We dropped the bale and snapped this light. Well, I did. Snapped that light off. So we bit the bullet and bought a new valve, but we're not 100% sure whether it's going to fix it. Hopefully it will, because we can't think of anything else what it would be. So he's going to put that on now. Tractor, we've had just having a look at this headstock, and there's loads of welds that want re-welding. There's just cracks forming all over this headstock, so we could do with cleaning all that off really and re-welding them before they get any worse. Fixed those two tyres that were both spares for the rake, because we had 2 punctures in the last session of baling, so we ended up with no spares. So I've just fixed them and put them back, built them back up, but these tyres are very, very perished, so they're not, I don't suppose they're up to a lot of work. So I've ordered a new tyre to have as a spare. I've also ordered a new one because it's the same size. The ones on the Baler pickup are the same size as the Tedder, which is this rim, and we've got a spare rim there with no tyre, so I've ordered one of those as well. Dan's completely serviced his lathe in the last week or two. He's took it all apart, drained all the oil out, cleaned all the oil ducts and everything, and put new oil in it, and he's found quite a lot of things blocked, oil pipes blocked and stuff, so he's got it running really well now, and he thinks it's running quite a lot quieter than it was. So what else have we done? A bit of a sort out. We sold some cattle, but not as many as I'd have liked. So we got everything moved around, brought some up from the calf shed that were getting far too big to be in there. So these and Dan's been making this bracket. I haven't actually had a look at it yet. He's made a bracket to go on here to hold his wrapper controls. So he's 3D printed these holders, and then he's obviously made himself a... Is that plastic? Oh, that's plastic as well. So it's all 3D printed apart from this metal bar. Oh yeah. Oh well, he'll be happy. It used to just sit here, and then every time you went over a bump it would fall off. So that's where he wants it. I kind of thought he'd want it more like here, but I suppose when you're wrapping you're always looking out your back window, so that's obviously where he wants it. As long as he's happy. Seemed quite a time-consuming project really, so achieving not a lot. So that's how much he's had to take off it to get it down to the lowest part that was worn, and then the idea is that you can build it back up with weld, so cover all this with weld and then get it so it's the same height as this. Yeah, well, we'll work from here. Or this. Yeah, he's worked off this because it doesn't sit completely straight in the lathe, does it? I mean, it doesn't look a lot, does it? It's only literally a mil. It's probably but then it looks a lot more this end than it does that end. Why is that? It's just because everything's wobbling around, isn't it? So because it's worn in certain places. It's not quite straight, is it?
That's not straight.
Oh, there is a fair bit of slop in there. It's hot. So we've got it all back in. It's all gone a bit dark now, but we got it back in, and there's hardly any wobble in it compared to what it was. These were just rattling around. So yeah, we're quite chuffed with that. Still making improvements on the old girl. Wednesday the 23rd, and it's about 7 or 8 in the morning. The last couple of evenings I've been working in here just trying to get all these trees piled up into a sort of pile, hopefully ready to be chipped. So what I've been doing is I've just been going back into the thickest part of the trees and just pulling out anything that's dead. There's some dead stuff still standing, like for example that one there is completely dead, there's no greenery on it at all, and it's still standing. What I'm finding is most of the dead ones that are standing, as soon as you touch them they just snap off, fall over. That one won't take a lot of persuading. Some of them are a bit more freshly dead and take a bit of pulling out, but if you push them in the right direction they usually fall over pretty easily. So yeah, I'm just sort of dragging them out in amongst the trees, which is a little bit of a technique to it, but and then getting them to here and sort of just chopping them up and stacking them. I've got quite a big pile. It doesn't look very big from here, but it goes back quite a way now. And then in here there's a fence which sort of goes into another run, and the fence is completely squashed, so I'm thinking there's a load of fallen trees in this next chicken run as well, so I need to sort of bring them over the fence. So I'm wondering whether I might need to disconnect the wire and just sort of like roll it up to pull everything through. It's just turning into a bigger job than I thought. I thought it would just be a quick little tidy up job, but I couldn't, once I got in here I couldn't believe the amount of dead trees. So yeah, but anyway, we're getting to the back of it. I'm hoping to finish this job today. And then we planted some grass seed last night, which I'll show you in this video where I've planted. I had a bit of a disaster with some Roundup in a can that wasn't supposed to have Roundup in it. Anyway, the field of fast grass that we had got burnt off with a combination of there being a little bit of Roundup in the spray that I used to try and kill the docks, and very dry weather. It's a very dry, sandy field, and it's just it's not enjoyed this hot weather, and it's just completely burnt off. So I got it re-sowed last night. I've tried to put some Westwalds in it, so we'll see what that does. So my friend came with his Moore's grassland uni drill and stitched it in, so that one's rolling. So I need to go and get a bearing from my roller to fix it, and then I can take the roller to the field and roll that in. We were forecast a showery week, but the rain has completely disappeared now, typically. So, but it desperately will want some rain if it's going to germinate, but we'll see how it pans out. So this is a field that we sowed last night, and it's just blow away sand, as Richard Dove would say. So I made a cock up and I accidentally burnt this field off with while I was trying to spray it for docks. But there's even areas where I didn't spray, because I didn't actually have enough spray to do the whole field. There's even areas that I didn't spray that's completely burnt off, one being that bit that's been cut for the airfield strip. But because this field just doesn't do well in a dry year. Last year it was brilliant because you could get on, even while it was wet all summer last year, you could get on this field and mow it no problems, because it's just like sand, it just dries out instantly. So we've held off. I've had the seed for a couple of weeks, but I've held off planting it because we had the heat wave, and there wasn't really any rain in the forecast. So but we've had a couple of decent heavy showers of rain over the last 2 or 3 days, and then we were forecast pretty much a wet week or 2 weeks, so we thought we'd crack on and do it. But obviously sod's law, as soon as we planted, the forecast changed by the time we'd finished planting this field last night, and there's not actually any rain forecast, so I thought I'd better get in here and roll it. It does feel like a bit of a fruitless task, but hopefully it will just hold the seed down in place until we do get a bit of moisture. But it's because it's so dry, the roller's just banging and bouncing around, but I don't think there's anything else I can do. It's just absolutely bone dry. But anyway, we'll see. We've planted some Westerwald in here. I think it had Italian ryegrass in here before, and I think, as far as I don't know the history of this field, but I've had it for 2 years, and I know that it was in ryegrass for it'd been sown at least a year before then, so it was 3 years in, and it was very noticeably starting to get less and less yield, because they're only supposed to be sort of 1 to 2 year crops, so it was time it needed reseeding anyway. So we'll see how it goes, whether it comes or not. So it was drilled with a Moore's uni drill, so it was just a slit cut with a disc, and then the seeds were just blown in with like a packer roller behind it. So we'll see how it goes. I'm not holding my breath for a massive crop later on in the year, but hopefully it'll get established anyway, ready for next year. Just had to put this new bearing on. This bearing that I've put on here is probably cost me nearly as much as the roller, and it's already actually working its way off. It's already slid off a bit, which could be a problem. Anyway, right, there's not a lot I can do about that here. I just mowed this bit of grass last night because it was all very well, it was ready to mow. This little patch here I reseeded 2 years ago, so it's much newer grass, and it was all like long like this. So I decided to mow it rather than leave it, because it had all gone to head anyway. The only reason I didn't carry on and mow all this as well is because I sprayed all that only about 3 days ago, because there's quite a lot of docks over the far side. So I only sprayed up to here because this is all pretty clean, so I didn't bother spraying it. So I'll probably have to give that another week or so yet, and then I'll mow it all. There's not a lot on it. There was only, how many is there? 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bales off this about 3 acre. So it's just tidied it up, and it'll be reasonably nice stuff rather than leaving it go old. So yeah, the baler works really well. It's the first time I've used it since we put those new bushes in the on the finger bar. So yeah, it worked really well. Apart from on the last bale, it seems to have knackered another roller bearing. So I've got rid of one noise and gained another one. So right, we'll see if we can figure this wrapper out. Dan's away now. He's gone away for a couple of weeks, so I'm on my own again. So unfortunately, I'm having to figure out the wrap. We just started just marking out where we're going to put this new building for the packing shed. So basically it's going to be the frame is going to be made out of this greenhouse frame. So there'll be 3 bays, 1, 2, 3 that'll go up to behind where the digger is. So there'll be 10-foot square bays, and then we might, if we've got enough stuff, put another bay on, or just 2 bays as a lean-to, just a roof for like parking the van underneath. So we're just marking it out, making sure we got enough room, because we still need access to that chicken shed to be able to move it. Obviously access to the bin, but we don't want to go so far over that way that we need to change all the fencing. So it should fit. It actually fits in there quite nice. So I just started digging some of the holes the other day, but before I got sidetracked doing other jobs. My mum's been doing a bit of clearing. We've got a fair old heap of logs that want chipping now. I've cleared the majority of this block of trees here, so this is all sort of ready to be chipped. I just need to probably make a bit of access to it. But yeah, it's quite a big job. But I think I've got all the trees out that are dead. There's a couple that are leaning a bit, but I might just see how we get on. That one there that's leaning in the back could probably land on the chicken shed, so might take that one out. The kids have been growing some, we don't really know what they are, whether they're squash or some sort of pumpkin, and they've done really well. There was some mysterious seeds that they got that Dan provided, but yeah, there's quite a lot of them. I don't know what they are. I don't know whether they're either pumpkins or squash or some sort of hybrid. But yeah, they planted them in here. We had chicken muck tipped here a year or so ago in a pile, and yeah, there's obviously a lot of feed in the ground. Yeah, I was at the shores yesterday giving them a hand, and they had some of these bales that apparently were baled a bit damp, no warming up, and they needed using in a hurry, so brought a trailer load of them back last night. But it just started raining as I got back, so I had to back them under the shed. But no, I've been working on this baler. This roller bearing went, which is that roller, had gone, and it was banging into that roller. So started taking it apart, thinking it would be a quick job, and then the more I looked, the more I saw that we've got the same problem as what we had on the other side, where all this plate is cracking under the load, I think, of this shaft, which is a massive so this shaft here holds the pickup all the way to the pickup reel, and these 3 chains, and I think just, you know, and this steel's only like 3 mil thick, and so over time it just puts a lot of stress on all this on this plate of steel, and it cracks. And obviously this is behind the wheel, so this is all rusty because this is where it all gets full of mud and crap. So it did the same on the other side, and we welded it all up as best we could, and it's been fine. But now this side needs doing while we're in here. We've got it all in bits, just working it, cleaning it all off. It's quite dark, but try and weld it both sides, because the access is great now. We got this roller off. The amount of muck that was in here, this was a solid mat of soily grass that pulled out. It's just like solid. Probably didn't do the bearings any good, but yeah, that was just absolutely solid, full of soil, and you wonder how it would get clogged up, because it's not like it hasn't got anywhere to go, but over time it just builds up. So whether that had something to do with the bearing going or not, I don't know. But yeah, I've ordered the bearings, so hopefully I've got one for that and another spare coming. Typically it's a different one. We changed this bearing about a week ago, and I ordered a spare one of them when I bought the new one, I was thinking it would be the same, but it's not. It's a different size bearing. So anyway, that's what we've been working on, so hopefully get it all welded up and ready to put back together as soon as the bearings arrive, and then we should be good to go. The bush that me and Dan put in on these fingers here that are in there on that bar, has made a hell of a difference. It runs loads quieter and smoother. So yeah, quite pleased. Well, I didn't check these last night for the first time, and they pulled the bullcock off the trough and flooded the pen. Well, I've just dragged this old 200 out of there from the backyard, because I was just going to see if there's some bits that I needed. So this plate got a bit destroyed getting it off, because one of these 3 bolts that was on this one, I think the idea is behind here there's a nut that's welded onto the plate that's on the roller, and the nut on this one had snapped off, had come off its welds, so I had to basically pry it off with a bar. So I went to this baler looking for a replacement, and I took one off, and really annoyingly it's just slightly, hi Chip, it's just a slightly different size. It's not miles off, but it isn't the same size. It's quite bizarre, this baler, because in some ways it's absolutely completely knackered, but in other ways the auto lubing system was working perfectly. The chains are all in really good nick, all of the sprockets are in really good nick, but pretty much everything else about the baler is completely knackered. All of the tin work is all the hinges have rusted off and are knackered. The pickup tines unfortunately aren't the same tines. PTO shaft isn't too bad, and the hitch actually is probably in better nick than on mine. Tyres aren't very good, but they do as a spare. So anyway, we'll see. I've welded up all my cracks. No prizes for tidiness, because it's not exactly easily accessible, but I think it's done the job. Can't really see because it's dark, but I've welded all these cracks up, same as what we did on that side, so hopefully it'll last another 20 years or so. I doubt it'll last that long, but so yeah, I'm just waiting on my bearings now really, and then try and put it all back together. I did get the sleeve off that bearing. I did have to cut it in the end because it just wouldn't budge even when I heated it up, so I had to put a slice in it. So that's how we're getting on. Well, it's Tuesday the 29th, we're almost at the end of the month. I've just had an hour or two working at this, so I've just put the last 2 bays on, and yeah, it's not gone too bad. It's not the easiest of things to put up with one person, but you can do it. You sort of put your poles up and tie them to you. Once I got my first square up, and I put a bit of concrete around the post to hold it steady, it got a lot easier, because then I could just I can sort of make the frame and tie it with string to the square, and then I could go up and lift the gutter on. You have to glue them on, because every gutter is glued onto a bracket to seal it. So the idea is that, the same as what we've built before, the roof will just tack screw directly into that gutter. An A-frame roof, and then we'll figure out the rest as we go on. Thinking of recycling those blocks which were from this greenhouse into like putting a couple of courses of blocks around the floor. We'll probably put a concrete pad first, just to get it level, and then we'll probably build a couple of courses of block in between the posts maybe. And then maybe just get some like cladded sheet, tin insulated, twin wall insulated sheet for the sides, and then the same for the roof. And then yeah, be quite a good space, because it'll be bigger than that. That's 20 foot by 8 foot, and this will be 30 foot by 10 foot. So give us loads of extra space. And then we'll try and have a door on each side. And then we're thinking if we've got any spare steel, which it looks as though we do. The only thing I'm short of is posts, but I might be able to make some other pieces into posts. I was going to maybe put another 2 bays here and have it as like a loading bay, so you can drive up here in your van and be able to load eggs without getting wet if it's raining or all your cardboard packaging gets soaked. But we'll see, we'll just focus on the main bit first, and then we can always add that after. Maybe, I don't know, we'll see. So yeah, it's coming along. Alright, I could do with the digger out of there now because I want to put the post knocker on, and I've got a bit of a fence to fix where in a sheep field, so. Well, it's Wednesday evening, and it's about, oh gosh, it's 10 to 9. And it's the 30th of July, so it's going to be the end of this video. I'm just going out, going to do a bit of topping. I'll show you when I get there, but I'm going to, I've got some rushes, rough grounds that I wasn't able to mow, that maybe wants ploughing, that wants topping off. The reason I'm carrying the topper like this is because I think this is a 9-foot topper, and it doesn't go through 8-foot gateways, or even 9-foot gateways really. I can't remember what size the gateway is to get into this field, so as it was parked like this in the yard, I thought I'll just carry it like this until I get to the field. And then I'll see I'll see how wide it is, because if it is wide enough, I won't bother switching it around to come back out, but I have a funny feeling it's quite a small gateway. Had a look around some of my grasses today, and there's not a lot of grass growing going on. You can see where it's had fertiliser and where it hasn't, very obviously. The newer reseeded grasses, the Italian grasses, I've sort of come back. I've got one field that's probably ready to cut, but it's only 4 acres. The older meadow grasses, like what's on here, they've greened up, but they just haven't bulked up. There's just nothing there to mow. So yeah, we've had a bit of rain. We keep getting forecast days of rain, but only getting very small showers. And then we've got quite warm, sunny weather in between, so the showers that we are getting aren't really doing anything. But we had a reasonably decent shower this morning, and we'll forecast another shower tomorrow morning, and then we've got another dry spell, so we'll see. I'm definitely going to cut some grass, but after my walk around, I've realised that there's nowhere near as much to cut as I thought there would be. There's a field also that I sprayed for weeds, and the spray has really hammered the grass. I don't really know, the only thing I can put it down to is that it's because of how dry it is, because I sprayed it at a really, really low rate of spray. So but it's like burnt it off. So I'm assuming it's because it's so dry. You know, I didn't really imagine it was dry, because we have had quite a lot of showers in the last couple of weeks, but those showers barely hitting the ground before they're disappearing. Actually, maybe I would have got through there. We'll try it on the way out. So I did actually bale this part of the field, because I think I managed to get on here and spray the weeds. It was quite weedy, but this bottom end, this triangle here, was just pure rushes. There's a video of Dan flail topping it with the International, and then he mole ploughed it after we dug the ditch. We dug this ditch out along here, which is also in another video, and then Dan mole ploughed it from the ditch into the field. but because he's sort of left the field pretty rough now, where it was ripped, because the rushes were that thick in the bottom, it wasn't cutting through them tidy, so I couldn't come on here and mow it off with the mower because it was just hitting too much soil. So I'm going to run over it now with a topper, and then I'm thinking of ploughing it, but I'm not sure whether to just plough up to here where the rushes were, or whether to plough the whole field. It's only like 3 acres, so I'll have to make my mind up. The problem is that there's loads of work that needs doing first, like trees need cutting back, all that hedgerow along there really needs hacking back, and it's just how far do you go before you bother ploughing. If you don't do it, you'll regret not doing it. What you do is you take this headstock off, and it goes on the side, and you just move the strap round into different holes. This springy thing in between your link arms is great, but it can be very annoying at getting caught up in your PTO shafts. In fact, I might just put the PTO shafts on. That'll definitely work. There you are, pretty simple. You only have to get in and out of the tractor about 5 to 10 times, depending on how bad a driver you are. Just hope the topper works, because I haven't used it for quite a while.